and welcome to Bell to Bells, your women's wrestling wire. I'm Mr. Warren Hayes. Thank you very much for joining us today. You picked a good day if you decided to come on over and take a look at what was going on youtube.com/Bell to Bells, because it's interview time once again. And I'm not gonna lie, we're having one of our favorites on. We're having someone who we enjoy talking to every single time. She's the ankle breaker, the daddy of the district. Jordan Blade is with us. How are you, Jordan?
I'm good, man. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you very much, by the way, for joining us today on Bell to Bells. I really appreciate it. Like I said, I told you, it's not the first time that we talk. Last time we did have a chance to speak, the situation was a little different around the world, right? Yeah. We were in the midst of the pandemic. Everything was shut down. Now, wrestling's back, baby. It's got to feel good, right?
Yes,
as opposed to
absolutely.
last year.
Yes, definitely. It feels like I made up for, last time we talked about like me kind of like not really doing anything between like March and December of last year, and now it feels like I definitely made up for all of that in the past, like, I guess 7 months since we talked.
So that's good, because you did get really busy, and and on top of that, you have your own family, right? How's everyone adjusting to returning slowly to pre-pandemic life?
Yeah, I mean, everyone's doing well. So, like I said before, or, the last time we talked, my wife and I, because of where we work, we really didn't stop working all that much. I mean, obviously it looks a little bit different now, with everyone wearing masks and everything, obviously. And then, there's different rules in place at our, normal jobs and stuff like that. But, again, for all intents and purposes, our day-to-day life as far as like work and stuff didn't really change all that much. So like, obviously everyone's still kind of getting acclimated. It's like, oh my god, I haven't seen you in forever and all this, and like, are we handshaking, are we fist bumping, what are we doing, are we hugging,
It's awkward, right?
Yeah,
like just last week I went to one of my first like gatherings, right? We were about 10 people and no one really knew what to do. You're like, it's gonna take a little while for us to really get back into something where everyone feels comfortable, I think.
yeah, absolutely. It's kind of like this new dance, like like where no one has a rhythm, So,
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the TikTok portion of the show.
what, I mean, if I can get rich off of this, come on now. Somebody teach me how to use TikTok. If you guys have any preteens out there or teenagers, please send them my way. I have no idea how to use TikTok, and I feel really old saying that.
Hey, listen, no, that's fine. Look, I think we could both use a comprehensive course, you and I, on that for sure. And like we said, wrestling is back. I mean, you're all pro, right? You love combat sports, you love wrestling. That's basically all you talk about on your social media, right? No, but I mean, like, I'm going over just to make sure I haven't missed anything, but it's not that big a surprise, because you wanted to be a wrestler since very, very young, right? You even made a PowerPoint presentation to your mother about wrestling schools. Am I right?
I did. That is correct.
Like, walk me through that, the research involved and whatnot.
Yeah, so I mean, Google is my friend, and it's if I can segue for a bit, it's really funny. Looking at job applications and stuff, and they'll ask you like, what your qualifications are, like, do you have experience in this, and this, and when it says like how many years of like, it'll say how many years of computer skills experience you have, and I'm like, I don't know, how old am I? 28? Like, how do you, like, I'm not like a boomer, or like, it's so
No,
weird.
it's like basically everything except TikTok. Basically, it's like,
I'm 28 years old. I don't know, maybe 20 years, and I know that sounds weird, like 20 years of computer skills experience. Like, I don't know what you want me to say here, but anyway, so so Google was my friend, and I literally was just like, wrestling schools in Virginia, or I think I even expanded maybe wrestling schools in like not New York, Lord Jesus, North Carolina, and I probably went as far up into Maryland. So kind of a bit of a stretch. And I'm gonna see. I think it was on our old desktop, and our desktop, that one that we had long ago, definitely crashed. I wish I had saved it on some flash drive, but alas, I've lost it. But yeah, so a lot of Google research. I know for me, a lot of it was, where did my favorite wrestlers train, and so obviously I knew Mickey James had at one point trained at Kaita Pro, which is in Manassas, which is in Nova, so about an hour and a half ish drive maybe.
All right.
So that was on my list. Obviously, they're not around anymore, at least to my knowledge. Don't sue me if they are. So sorry. And then I took when I was in college. I took judo when I was in college for a semester because I knew Lita had taken judo.
Oh, look at
Like I
that.
found that out, and I'm
Okay.
pretty sure she took it at VCU. So like I like equated that. I was like, okay, I need to take judo now. Like so, it was just like a lot of like following who like my favorite wrestlers were, and still are at the time, and figuring out where they trained and what they did to prepare for a job in professional wrestling.
And how was it successful in convincing your mother to send you to school, wrestling school?
At 12, 13, 14 years old, absolutely not. Um, so I finished middle school and went on to high school, and unfortunately did not get to train at 14 years old. So I envy some of these wrestlers now, especially wrestlers like Billy Starks
Yeah,
and people like that who are freaking killing it, who are able to, and Izzy, and who are able to balance school and wrestling probably a lot better than I probably would have been able to. So I think that definitely speaks to their character and their responsibility level at that age. So
yeah, for sure. And at least from that point on, your mother had to, she was maybe she was crossing her fingers and going, "Oh, she'll grow out of it," kind of thing. But
absolutely, yep. Her and my stepdad were definitely like, oh, it's a phase, like she'll grow out of it, blah blah blah. So yeah, especially my stepdad. So always I joke with him every now and then that I'm like, it's still a phase, yeah.
but I mean, clearly not. I mean, or at least it's the longest phase of all time. Because you've started working a lot. Started already in 2021. You've been up and down the East Coast, New England, even head on out to Ohio and Indiana. Feels like wrestling and women's wrestling in particular, feels like it's coming back strong too. Between the WWR Plus shows, they've been
Yes.
putting on fantastic shows, and I'm shout out to them. They've really been putting on some of the most entertaining shows out there on IWTV that I've been enjoying quite a bit. Now the
Yeah.
NWA is getting serious about their women's wrestling. Ring of Honor on top of that,
Yep.
trying to refresh Women of Honor. Even MLW is throwing their hat into the mix.
Absolutely.
I mean, those, all of this, some nice opportunities that are opening up, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, absolutely. I think I was talking to my friend about it the other day, and I was telling him, I'm like, this whole summer, I feel like, especially for women's wrestling, we've gotten like a resurgence and a lot of opportunities. Again, starting with Ring of Honor, revamping their women's division with Maria Kanellis, which is awesome. Um, and then we had the next thing was NWA
Mm-hmm.
with Mickey James spearheading Empower, the first ever all women's NWA pay per view, which is awesome. And then we have MLW coming out with their women's division. So, like you said, so a ton of opportunities. You know,
Which one are
at
you
least one.
eyeballing? Which one are you? You've got to have, and there's a couple of other ones that are on TV that are running at the same time too. You have to be eyeballing a couple of these, right?
I'm just gonna say that
Oh.
you got to shoot your shot,
Mm-hmm.
and so that's what I've been doing. I think you know me being like my confidence comes and goes in waves, and I think every wrestler will probably tell you that. Almost every wrestler
Mm-hmm.
maybe would tell you that. But I feel like over the past few months, I've put together a really great body of work, and I'm really proud of that. And so I think I have a lot to offer to all three of these promotions. I feel like I am a fit for all of these promotions, and um, I feel as though I'm unique in what I bring to independent wrestling, and especially independent women's wrestling. I don't think you see. I think I've probably said this before. I don't think you see people like me um, that often in independent professional wrestling. A masculine black queer female who is a shooter. So that's kind of like that is a very very niche character, but I think again like I bring something different and unique. When I think of someone else who brings that same energy, maybe not the masculine part or the queer part, I'm not going to speak on that for them, but who I have immense respect for, obviously, would be Janai Kai.
Hmm.
She and I, we met in December at Paradigm Pro Wrestling for the first time, and I'm like, A, how's this first time I'm hearing about you? B, how's this the first time I'm meeting you because you live in DC? Um, but there was like an instant connection with her, with Yoya, with Robert Martyr, all three of those guys, and I feel as though bonded after that show, and obviously after that show, I think and I think I've said this before, but all of our stocks, I feel as though skyrocketed.
Hmm.
But again, just coming back to Janai, I feel like if I feel like she's not going to be on the indies for long. So
Yeah, you don't think so?
I don't think so, unless she wants to be, which is her prerogative, and if she's happy doing that, obviously all the best to her. But I feel as though she should be on my TV. I feel like she deserves it. I feel like she's again one of these shooters that definitely mixes and blends the world of martial arts and pro wrestling very beautifully, and I just love to see her blossom and do what she does.
Oh, that's awesome. And you met her at Paradigm. You were saying, and
Yep.
and you have you have a bit of news coming out of PPW Paradigm Pro Wrestling. You recently became their very first super middleweight champion. What's interesting was fought under UWF rules, right? Which is a bit of a throwback. And just in case I've lost some people here who are not quite sure. Like it's essentially a hybrid of traditional pro wrestling style with mixed martial arts, and there, you can't win. You can only win by, and correct me if I'm wrong here, knockout, TKO, or submission or points. Right? There's no pinfalls.
Correct.
Right. And with your jiu-jitsu background that you just talked about, that had to be right in your wheelhouse, right?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, when I saw, back in November, December that they were holding, tryouts, I was like, for UWFI rules, obviously, I was like, I have to do this. I have to bet on myself. I have to do this. It was scary because, like we talked about, I think last time we talked, that was my first booking where I was going to be flying somewhere. That was the furthest I'd ever been. And it was my first double shot. So, I did Paradigm on Friday and then, caught the first plane the next day, to wrestle Trish in New Jersey. So that was kind of like a big weekend, a big moment for me. And I feel like I performed well on both of those shows. So again, I think that weekend that was kind of what shot me up to have been booked every weekend since the end of April, and finally getting a break now. I mean, definitely tired, but definitely grateful for everything.
Sure.
I'm super stoked to have worked the people I have worked and for the things that I have coming up.
Usually feeling grateful. I don't know. A lot of people who I talk about when they start feeling grateful, I think it's like fatigue usually goes hand in hand with it. I think they're not exclusive. You and during the for the super middleweight title, it was a tournament, right? And there was quite the field in there. You had Travis Huckabee, Molly McCoy, 0-1 USA junior heavyweight champion Victor Analog, and you ended up defeating Robert Martyr in the semifinals and former PPW champion Cole Radrick in the finals themselves. You win the title. You're the first. And on top of that, you're a woman on top of that. You got to like the idea of these titles being, gender agnostic. Let's put it that way.
Yes, absolutely.
How
Yeah,
do you
and
feel about that, champ?
yeah, so that's one thing I love about PPW as a whole. I mean, there's no discrimination as far as gender or any of that. And obviously, being one of the few females in the tournament, that was a big thing for me. And to win it, like especially against Rob and Cole, I was like, it was definitely a surreal moment. I think like definitely top three. I think moments for me in my pro wrestling career, and to have Gary, sorry Gary, it's the head honcho of PPW.
Okay.
To have him have so much faith in me, it's just and we've only known each other for like 7 months, something like that. So I again, the term I keep coming back to is grateful. Grateful that he took a chance on me. Grateful that he sees so much potential in me. Even sometimes when I don't see that potential in myself again, confidence kind of goes up and down in waves. But Paradigm really is a great place to wrestle, and I'm very fortunate and honored that I'm a part of the roster. Um, and I would be remiss if I didn't give a shout out to J Rose. I know he's taking the back seat right now, but J Rose is as much of the face of that company as Gary obviously is doing his thing behind the scenes, but J Rose is as much of the face of that company as any other wrestler in PPW. So shout out to J Rose, much love.
There you go. Well, you see I think the just by everything you just said there, I think the faith that they show in you is very, very justified. Look at that. It's fantastic.
Thank you.
And well, you mentioned it. You were one of the only women in the tournament, but your singles work does involve a lot of intergender matches. You do a lot of that, and just with your tag team, of course, with Eel O'Neill, the Kings of the District, that allows you to do a lot of intergender work. I was talking about the WWR Plus shows. Well, you were there with Eel, so so it allows you to do a lot of that. How since you're bathing in it, since you're really involved in it, how do you feel intergender wrestling is evolving as far as perception goes and acceptance overall? I know it's always a struggle. How do you, if I were to ask you like a state of intergender wrestling today, how would you qualify it?
So I mean, I don't really see well, let me rephrase. Like, I feel like to me, like it hasn't changed. Like I haven't seen people like change their minds, and maybe that's just because I kind of live under a rock and I'm not always on Twitter all the time. So again, forgive me if there's been some, huge wave of change
I don't think so.
Wrestling that I'm not privy to. But I think though, again, from what I'm seeing or not seeing, that people are just keeping their mouth shut about it if they don't like it. I think this goes kind of with my character, right? So I don't think people necessarily say a lot of stupid crap to me about intergender wrestling, because like
I know I wouldn't. I'll tell you,
could I legitimately in real life beat some of these guys? Yes, I could. Does that sound very cocky? Yes, it does.
But sure.
That like what I present to you is who I am and what you get. And I'm sorry, not sorry if male egos are impacted by that. But yeah, I haven't really seen any like sway one way or the other. How as far as fans go, I'll put it that way. I have seen obviously an increase in intergender wrestling from various wrestling promotions.
Mm-hmm.
I think Beyond and WWR Plus have always kind of led the charge and been gender neutral. Like they embrace intergender wrestling. So working for them, WWR Plus has been amazing because it's such like a welcoming locker room. You know, everyone is there to like they know, hey, they're looking at you like a wrestler. They're not
Mhm.
looking at you as male or female, and their audience is the same way. So I'm again super grateful to be a part of that too.
And I mean, it's cool at the same time because you know, you're hanging out in this locker room like you said, and there's like in a WWR plus, and there's a lot of crisscrossing that's happening there, right? Like Willow Nightingale shows up there. Next thing you know, she's on AEW. Next thing you know, she's on Ring of Honor. You know, Trish Adora, same thing. There's a lot of bubbling right now, and I think that's really exciting in that regards. And and we've been talking a lot about your singles aspirations, but you're also in a tag team. You've also, you're carrying that other guy. What? Of course, I'm kidding. Yul O'Neal's fantastic. Of course, I'm just kidding. Do you have any goals, tag team goals with Eel moving forward?
Oh yeah. So I mean, obviously, still on our bucket list to wrestle is Violence is Forever.
That's
I
right.
know.
Still hasn't happened yet. They had that
Yep.
great
Still.
match against Finjuice a couple of months ago
Yes.
in GCW, right? So yeah.
Yep. So that's definitely on our bucket list. I know, um, we still want to. Sorry, I'm trying to my train of thought here. Um, you know, we want to debut and beyond. You know, we've worked for it, are working for WWR Plus. You know, we want to make our debut and beyond.
Sure.
Um, I think that's kind of like not saying that it's a step up or anything. I feel like they're definitely on like level playing fields, obviously. But WWR Plus, we're focusing on women's wrestling plus,
Hmm.
obviously, and Beyond's obviously already established. Um, so I think again for us, and we want to bring wrestling back to the DMV area. Jesus.
There's a hole
So
right now, right? That's okay. Well, that was my understanding. There's a gate. There's a gaping hole right now. Correct?
there's a gaping hole, and I won't tell you what just went through my head when you say gaping
Oh my god.
hole, but
So yeah, that's the thing. It's
I'm
like
so sorry. You can
no,
edit that
that's
out.
fine. That's fine. I mean, that's the kind of stuff. That's the kind of stuff that just comes out of my mouth. And that's why my mother only wants to see me once a month. So
No, but yeah, there is definitely a gaping hole in the DMV area, but um, we do have some.
there you go.
Somebody help me. um, yes, there's a void.
Oh, that's what I should have used. An abyss. Anything else? You
Exactly.
gotta. Oh my god. All right.
In the DMV area, we're definitely working on trying to get something back. I'll go ahead and plug this right now. Virginia is gonna get wrestling back. I do wrestle for UEW, which is United Elite Wrestling, that is based out of Richmond, Virginia. Because of Virginia's strict laws, especially when it came to COVID, which is understandable. Finally kind of able to run again, kind of behind the curve at this point, with kind of everyone else like having started to run again. But UEW is coming back. They are putting on a show this Friday. I won't be on it. But their next show is going to be Sunday, September 12th in Richmond, Virginia. And details for that I'll post all over my social media and everything. Um, as far as the Maryland, DC area, Eel is in the works
Oh.
about some stuff. So that's all. That's all I'm
All
gonna.
right. All right. Interesting. All
That's
right.
all I'm
So
gonna say about that. So we do have stuff in the works. It's just it's taking time. I think really the whole DMV area, I say Virginia, it has a strict commission. Really, the whole DMV area has a very strict commission.
okay.
I think honestly, Virginia probably out of the three is more lax. Um, but again, still trying to. We're not even skirting around. Obviously, just kind of having to deal with them and the
Mm-hmm.
parameters that they set forth. All the hoops we have to jump through with all of that. But stuff is coming. Third time's a charm.
It'll happen.
Third time's a charm. Hopefully,
It'll happen.
at least since I've been wrestling. I'm sure there's been more previously, but Jesus Christ, sometimes I just DMV wrestling. I'm like, come on, like
close.
We have so many talented people. Obviously, Eel, Trish, Janai, Yo-Yo, Eric Lee, Sledge Gibson. We have so much talent. We're having to drive 5, 6, 7, 8 hours, which, I mean, that's part of the gig. We love the places we work. We love the people we work with. Not saying that,
No.
we shouldn't have to drive this far. I mean, it is what it is. We obviously want to be, in as many places as we can. But, it would be nice every once in a while to, drive 15 minutes,
Mm-hmm.
and wrestle in front of, our friends and family, because the fact of the matter is, when your friend asks you, hey, when are you wrestling next? Oh yeah, next weekend. We're at New Jersey. I'm not going that far, which I don't blame them. Where are you wrestling next? Maryland. Still not going that far. Where are you wrestling next? Midlothian. Okay, cool. That's 10 minutes from my house. Whatever. So
that's why there's hometown crowds, right? That's why there's
totally.
hometown crowds.
But I see some of these people that come to these shows, and fans or whatever. I'll interact with them, and I'll ask, hey, or they'll ask me how where I'm coming from, obviously Richmond, Virginia, so 10 hours, whatever, and they're like, oh yeah, we drove 4.5, and I'm like, man, you guys drove 4.5 hours for thank you, that's really that's a huge compliment that you guys drive 4.5 hours. I mean, to see us, to see this,
That's cool.
It's great, it's cool.
You know how a lot of interviews like to end with word association. I give you a name and then you tell me a word that comes.
Yes.
I want to mix it up a little bit.
Ooh, okay.
I'm going to name you a wrestler, and you're going to tell me under what stipulation or gimmick you'd like to fight that wrestler.
Okay. Do I get a time? Do I have a time limit?
But no, I mean, just off the top of your head. It's not. You're not being graded here, Jordan. It's fine.
Oh my God, brain freeze. I'm gonna say a cat on a pole match. I just say that because 2 of my cats are sitting right next to me.
Oh, well, there you go. So draw inspiration from where you want. Can be anything at all. Let's start with Lee Moriarty.
Oh, Pure Rules.
Ooh. Oh, my heart just skipped a beat.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd love to see that. Faye Jackson. I know she's, retired, but,
I know. Bra and panties.
Kennedy Copeland.
For her, I will do a hardcore match. For her.
Oh, do you have apprehensions in regards to hardcore matches?
And under the right.
Okay.
I am petrified. I don't know how she does it. I'm petrified of light tubes and not necessarily tables, but I'm scared of heights.
Okay.
I can't. But okay. For her, I'll take a Valium and.
Effie.
Dong on a pole match.
I was gonna say you can't do bra and panties now, so you've already got
that. I used that one already. Damn, I used that one already.
Dong on the pole match. That's fantastic. Big E.
Big E. Oh my goodness. World's Strongest Slam contest.
Oh, okay.
I know that's a Mark Henry thing, but
Okay, no, that's cool. Do you think you could slam Big E? The big dude.
Let's go, Big E.
All right,
Give me a few months. Give me a few months, brother. Come on, give me a few months.
Thunder Rosa.
Submission match.
Oh, have you thought about this one before?
I mean, maybe. See, I would love to wrestle her. She's great.
She is. And let's close it up with Mickie James.
One of my dream matches. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
2 out of 3 falls.
Oh, fun. I like it. I like it. That would be fun. There you go. See, that wasn't so bad. That was kind of fun.
That was okay. That was fun. I
All
like
right.
that one. That's
Awesome.
good. Did you make this up? This is good.
Full credit goes to Kristen. She came up with the gimmick idea.
Okay. So next time you interview me, just have a new a new crop. God, a new crop of wrestlers.
What's going on with our brains?
I have no idea, and I just came back from vacation, so.
Oh well, that's it. You're all relaxed and loose. That's the thing.
We had a cabin in the mountains, and maybe I'm still high.
Yeah, exactly.
Like
yeah, the lack of oxygen and so on and so forth.
Not high.
No. That's fine. See, I'm here to protect you. I'm a PR guy. I'll make sure everything's okay.
Oh my God, I'm never gonna get hired by any of these big companies now. Thanks. Thank you, Warren.
Jordan, this was fantastic. A really fun time chatting with you. Before we go, drop everything you need to drop, social, so on and so forth. Where can people buy your merch, for God's sake?
Oh, yes. Yes, I'm super stoked about that. Okay, so as always, follow me on Instagram and Twitter at Jordan_Blade92. Please don't try to friend me on Facebook. That's the only personal life I have, so just keep that separate, please. So merch, whatamaneuver.net/Jordan-Blade. Okay. Still in the works for a new shirt design. I do understand that, you probably shouldn't be sending your kids to school with a shoot to kill logo on it, so understandable. So I'm working on new merch right now, so that should be coming out very soon. Especially so we have more colors for you guys to wear. I hear you guys wanting, obviously wrestling shirts that are not black. Understandable. I like black. I think it goes with everything, but you got to give the people what they want, right?
You got to give the people what they want. Exactly.
Catch me, man. I'm kind of in a break right now, which I'm excited about. Again, I've been booked every weekend since end of April, so I've been going. Really excited for this break right now. But if you haven't seen season 2 of Enjoy Wrestling Canned Heat, it's free on YouTube. Go ahead and check that out. If you guys didn't check out the IWW Complex show last night that aired on IWTV at 10 p.m., the replay may be up. You might want to check that. Maybe up. I'll check on that. Then obviously I have some awesome stuff coming up in August. I do have a jiu-jitsu tournament August 7th, so I'm really stoked about that. Then the weekend after, I'll be making my debut for Shocking All Pro Wrestling Grapple Hers. It is Kennedy Copeland and Riley Shepard versus myself and the Gummy Bear Kid herself.
Really?
Poo Poo Girl, Erica Lee.
That'll be
team up for the 3rd time.
That's going to be a good one. That's really going to be a good one. Lots of people I like in that match.
Yes, I love all these ladies in this match.
Absolutely.
That card is honestly stacked. I'm really excited for it. Unfortunately, I don't think it's going to be streamed on IWTV. So I think the only way you can catch it is live. There may be streaming options elsewhere down the road. Not sure. So give them a follow on Twitter to stay up to date on that. Mine and Janai's match from Black Girl Magic. That whole show should be up within the next few weeks. Follow Pro Unapologetic on Twitter for the latest updates on that. And once I get updates, I'll update you guys as I know them. And then, my next match that was just announced yesterday, Polly M. Woodstock, Saturday, August 28th. Myself versus Robert Martyr. 2.
Ooh, 2.
Yep.
Are we defending titles here or?
Nope. So it's just a straight up pro wrestling match. So I beat him in the semifinals of the Paradigm Pro Wrestling Super Middleweight Grand Prix. So we'll see if I can go 2-0 against the Matt Bully.
Why wouldn't you? I don't know why
He's
you
great.
wouldn't.
He's one of my best friends in this business.
It's good stuff. Well, clearly you've got a lot of stuff going on, so you do have to follow Jordan Blade on all of her socials. We'll have all the links and the link to her What a Maneuver store as well, all in the description when we're done here. Jordan, I can't thank you enough for taking the time to chat with me. Look at how busy you are. I mean, I know you're in a break right now, but you're still super busy all the time. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And thank you everyone for watching as well here today on youtube.com/bell2bells. And why don't you subscribe and like and all that stuff? I don't need to walk you through it. You know how it works. Thank you all for watching, and we'll see you again very, very soon. Goodbye.